Hello and welcome to LSE Focus. It is post-match reaction show time after Liverpool have just drawn against Brighton, 1-1 on the South Coast, having been robbed of 2 points with an absolutely shambolic decision from the officials right at the end of the game. And that sums it up right there, doesn't it? I mean, it's just, you can talk about the game all you want, and I will come on to the performance and how I thought Liverpool played and whether or not they deserve to get a win out of the match. But at the end of the day, they were on their way to 3 points that had been fought so hardly for, and all those players on the pitch have done absolutely everything to secure, and then the referee and the man behind the VAR have conspired to say, no, you're not having 3 points today. And I honestly cannot work out why. If you think that was a penalty, then let me know down in the comments below and let me know why you think it is, and we'll keep the discussion reasonable. No one go off at each other, but from my personal perspective, that is a joke of a decision. Like, I cannot fathom why that's been given. I mean, once the referee heads over to the monitor, you know that you're doomed. You know that your number's up, and you know that a penalty is going to be given, because that just seems to be the way it works now. And they seem afraid almost to go over to the monitor and go against what they've been told to do by the fella who's told them to go there in the first place. I mean, that whole system was introduced because it was getting too ridiculous with the whole clear and obvious thing. They were told not to go over to the monitor too much, and we saw that in the Champions League and in international matches, they do use that pitch side monitor a lot more to good effect. But what now seems to be the case is they just send them over to the monitor almost at will. And sometimes maybe they are doing it because they just think, oh, maybe we'll leave it down to you. It should be your opinion. It should be the opinion of the on-field ref. But what seems to happen is as soon as the ref goes over there, he thinks, I've got to overturn this. Even though, as I said, it's not a penalty. It's not a foul. I mean, Robertson, yeah, he catches Danny Welbeck, but he clips him. He doesn't boot him. He doesn't fly through his shin. It's not reckless. It's not violent conduct. And can you honestly tell me that Danny Welbeck, if he doesn't get hit there by Andrew Robertson, is doing anything with that ball? Like, it's a 50-50 at the end of the day. Both of them are going for it. Both of them are stretching. If Welbeck does get that touch and is able to carry on with his progression, he's going nowhere. I don't think he even reaches the ball. It's going away from goal. It's going out of the box. It's not threatening. It certainly doesn't warrant Brighton to get a free hit from 12 yards out. And, you know, I don't want to get too into the discussion of whether the penalty system should be changed. I know it's something that has been spoken about by people in the past, that a foul anywhere in the box should not automatically lead to a chance that clear cut as a free shot at the goalie with no one else in the way. But in that scenario, I just don't see how you can give a penalty. And it is just almost getting beyond a joke now. I mean, you've of course got the offsides earlier on in the game, and personally, I'm not as fussed about those. You know, Salah is offside, Mane is offside. Those are fair calls, and if I have one issue with it, it's the fact that the linesman isn't spotting these. And another thing that VAR has exposed is that officials, and linesmen in particular, aren't very good at their job. And listen, you can say it's marginal, you can say, especially the Salah one is very much on the line, but the Mane one, he's offside. He's offside by it's a visible gap between where he is and where the last man is. And at the end of the day, you can say, oh yeah, like I said, you can say that it's marginal and it's a difficult one to call. But this bloke is paid a living wage to do nothing other than call offsides, essentially. You know, it's all right if it's a Sunday league match and someone's dad is running the line, and if he gets the call wrong, you could think, oh well, fair enough. You know, it's not like he's a professional linesman or anything. But these people are paid to do nothing other than run up and down that line and say when someone is ahead of the last defender. And if they can't do that, what is the point of having them? And I do think it is certainly a problem in the Premier League. Maybe in other countries they have this in domestic leagues as well, but you don't see nonsense like this on a game-by-game basis in the Champions League or in international matches in World Cups or anything like that. And it's the same reason that you don't see a single English referee or a single English official of any kind involved in Champions League matches or international games or World Cups, because they're not very good. I mean, it's been plain as day, and I've said it before on this channel time and time again, there is not a single good official in this country. Every time it gets announced who is refereeing your game, I go through the list and I don't even know why I bother, because inevitably I'm going to see a name and think, oh, he's crap, isn't he, if we're being honest. And it was the same thing today, and you've got the same morons both on the pitch and in the VAR booth making ridiculous calls. And like I said, it's a game by game basis now. This happens every single match, and that is the point where you've got to say, you know what, cut our losses, VAR hasn't worked. In this country, with these officials, it's not working, because it was brought in to clear up contentious decisions and to get rid of refereeing errors. But clear refereeing errors happened once every few games, you know, and you'd maybe look back at the end of the season and point to 1 or 2 incidents where you felt like you were really, really screwed over by a refereeing error. But now it's every single game. You can't say that we talk less about VAR now than we used to do about officials making mistakes. We talk about officials making mistakes now more than we did with VAR. All this is it's a tool for them to get more things wrong. The penalty, the referee doesn't give it initially. He's got such a clear view of it. Everyone, the commentators, anyone watching the game is saying, it's not a penalty. It's certainly not clear and obvious. And then the only man who seems to think it is a penalty, well, the two men are the referee on the pitch once he sees the replay and the bloke who's told him to look at that replay in the first place. And like I said, it's ruining the game. Like, it makes it not enjoyable to watch. Like, I didn't celebrate Salah's goal at the start, for example, the goal that gets chalked off for offside, because already you're thinking, well, he looked a little bit off. And like I said, I can almost stomach those. Even though it's marginal, at least it was his foot rather than his elbow or his armpit or all those ridiculous ones we've been seeing recently. At least he was actually, according to the rules, offside. Yeah, fine. The Mane one irks me more because the linesman should be flagging there. That is an easy, relatively easy for a bloke who's professional linesman decision to make, and he's not calling it, and it makes the game more annoying as fans to watch, and more annoying for the players as well, because they have to keep seeing decisions overturned because the officials aren't doing their job properly. But that penalty was an example of where the referee got the call right. As I said, yeah, Robertson clips Welbeck. He clips him. He doesn't boot him. It's not enough contact to send the man down. It's certainly not enough contact to deem it unsportsmanlike or to say that it's affected Welbeck in an adverse way. Like I said, Welbeck doesn't come away with the ball. He doesn't have any kind of clear opportunity of creating a decent chance from that situation. It is a 50-50. And in a 50-50, both players are never going to arrive at the exact same time. One of them's going to get there slightly earlier than the other and will therefore maybe get clipped a little bit. Now, if he gets clattered because the other player is a second too late and has clearly just had no chance of getting the ball whatsoever, and like I said, clatters him, puts a severe amount of contact in him, then yeah, foul, penalty, whatever. But that's not what happened here. He didn't get clattered. He simply got clipped. And that is something that in a semi-contact sport will happen time and time again. Happens every single minute in a football match. Just because it happens in the box, even though it's in a completely non-threatening situation, doesn't mean you should be pointing to the spot, and certainly doesn't mean after the referee has said it's not a penalty that you should be getting in his ear and said, you've got that completely wrong. Not just, oh, I'm not sure, but I'll leave it. I'll say that his initial opinion was right. You're saying that he's got it totally wrong, that the referee has made a clear error there, which, even if you think it's a penalty, even if you think, oh, yeah, just about, it is a slight foul. If you do think that, and yeah, that's fine, you can't say that it's stonewall. The Nico Williams one at the start of the penalty, at the start of the game even, clear penalty. No need to even discuss that one. But that one was not a penalty. And what is annoying, and I complain about this myself, that people talk about VAR too much, and we've lost the kind of love for the game. We don't analyse games anymore. We just talk about refereeing errors. But like I said, when it's happening every game, something's got to give, something's got to change. If we don't complain, if we don't throw our arms up and say that the game is being, as it is being ruined by this ridiculous thing that's been brought in, then it's going to carry on happening. And I'm sure, I haven't seen Jurgen Klopp's post-match reaction or anything like that, but I'm sure he will be going off. I'm sure he'll be complaining. I'm sure he'll be having words again. And no doubt what will inevitably happen is nothing. Nothing will happen, because until everyone gets behind the same sort of idea that is VAR in its current form, get rid of it. If you want to change it and implement it differently and try and alter it, then yeah, brilliant, fine, do that. But at the moment, it's making this season of football unwatchable, and it's making it genuinely difficult to care about football matches, because the problem is I can be a little bit... I can get perspective on a loss when it's Liverpool's fault. So, for example, the 2-0 loss against Atalanta on Wednesday night, I almost don't mind that, because Liverpool lost that game because they were rubbish and because they deserved to lose it on their performance. And you come away from that thinking, well, I'm annoyed about the fact we lost, but I know that we know what the issues are. We know how Liverpool can fix it. I know that one of the issues is fitness, and that's another issue with this season that makes it so irritating, and that's something we can't really get around. But tactical tweaks, we can make those. We can work on that kind of stuff on the training ground in the admittedly limited time that the manager has. But how do you come away from this game and think, well, how do we avoid that happening again? How do you avoid being screwed over by the VAR, but with a decision that is completely out of your control and, as I said, plainly incorrect. There is nothing that Jurgen Klopp can do on that training ground tomorrow and on Monday and on Tuesday before the Ajax game to avoid this happening again. You've just got to shrug your shoulders and say, well, I hope it doesn't happen again. But as I said, it's every single game and it will happen again. But we'll park the VAR stuff for now. As I said, let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Overall, in terms of the performance, like I said, Liverpool weren't great. And you could argue that Liverpool don't deserve the 3 points based on the quality of their performance. But based on the effort they put in, based on the way they battled, the way they got that goal at such a crucial moment in the game, and then adjusted the way they were playing, were tactically so astute. I think as we got on into the game, we got better and better, which given the fitness issues we've got at the moment and the fact that you'd expect players to be flagging later on, you'd expect players to get tired and start to struggle to be as good as they were at the start of the game. Liverpool just improved all the way through and were actually not plain sailing, but we looked not comfortable either, but we looked like we had things under control in those latter stages. I was thinking that the last 10 minutes would be absolute hell because the players' legs would go and Brighton would just launch an onslaught, but Liverpool were doing very, very well to contain the opposition and try and see the game out, and that is what makes it so annoying because we've just been robbed of all that hard work for absolutely no reason. So ending it on a positive note, Jota's goal was good, and it is starting to feel for him like a similar kind of situation to Salah's first season at Liverpool, where as soon as he picks up the ball there right before the goal and gets into the box, you know something's on. You know something's going to happen. And as soon as he shoots, it feels like the ball is already in the back of the net by the time that it leaves his boot. And that's the similar thing that Salah had in that first season, where everything he touched just turned to gold. And it's not even a brilliant shot from Diogo Jota. He doesn't blast it. He places it quite well, but he shanks it a little bit. There's a bit of roll and a bit of bobble on the ball as it's going through. But like I said, he's just in one of those veins of form at the moment, and long may it continue, where every time he hits the ball, you feel like it's automatically going to go back in the net. And that is obviously a fantastic asset to have. And on another day where things go our way and external influences don't ruin things, Liverpool do, of course, come away with the 3 points. But unfortunately, we haven't. Unfortunately, it's only a draw. It does still put us top of the Premier League table, which is the smallest of silver linings you can get. Of course, all eyes will be on Tottenham Hotspur in the North London derby tomorrow and all the other teams that are in and around the top of the Premier League table to see how they get on. But in the meantime, Liverpool have been frustrated by VAR once again, and it very much does feel like that is becoming a narrative this season. But that is all for today's video. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope it was cathartic in some way. I hope you gained some sort of release from just sort of stopping to process the game. And like I said, let it all out in the comments below. Let me know how you feel, what you think the referee should have done, etc, 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 down there. Apart from that, don't forget to hit the like button on the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button there if you're new around here. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel over the past few days. Don't forget to follow at LSU Focus TV on Twitter, and I will be back very soon for the pre-match content for the Ajax game. Until then, bye for now.